I recently got rejected by 10 auto rickshaw drivers in a row. I bet that's some kind of record. For a little more context, I traveled to Bangalore for the very first time to attend the 01 Fest, which, spoiler alert, was amazing. But after the event, it was pretty late, and when I tried finding an auto to get me back to my hotel, no one, and I mean no one, was willing to give me a ride. I asked them to take me to Koramangala. They looked at me as if I asked them to take me to the moon. Those drivers that did consider giving me a ride asked for a fare that could probably get me to the moon. And this is not just about Bangalore. This is everywhere in India. Delhi, Mumbai, Hyderabad, even Gujarat. You name the place and there's probably someone fighting an auto wala right now. But why is this the case? Why are auto walas constantly rejecting us? What's up with these crazy fares and what's the solution? Well, we thought about it, so let's talk about it. Hey everyone, I'm Angad Kahai Singh, and Vyre is glad to be a part of Zerodha's media network, through which we plan on bringing you well-researched content that dives deep into the questions you didn't even know you had. Vyre is all about curiosity, exploring the stories behind things that we see every day but rarely stop to question. So if that's something that you're interested in, do consider subscribing. I don't think it's a surprise if I tell you that auto rickshaws are everywhere. They're one of the most popular ways to get around. They're cheap, convenient, and available around every corner. Whether you're late for work, trying to get to the market, or just trying to avoid the sun, there's always an auto nearby, just ready to weave through traffic and get you to your destination. Well, at least in theory. Because while autos are legally required to run on a meter in most states, that's rarely ever the case. Instead of a fixed, predictable fare, you're given a random number. A number that depends more on the driver's mood, the time of the day, or even just by how desperate you look. Let's break down what's really happening on the streets. Let's take Rajesh as an example. He's been an auto driver in Bangalore for over 12 years. Drivers like him face a very real mathematical problem. You see, the daily rental of his auto is 350 rupees. Add to this 400 rupees that he spends on fuel in an average day. Rajesh now needs to earn 750 rupees every day before he can make a single rupee of profit. The official meter in Rajesh's auto reads 30 rupees for the first 2 kilometers and 15 rupees for every kilometer after that. On paper, a 5-kilometer ride should earn him 75 rupees. But the last comprehensive meter revision in Bangalore was way back in 2013, with only a minor adjustment in 2021. From that time to now, fuel prices are up by 43%, vehicle maintenance is up by 35%, and food costs are up 28%. If we adjusted these 2013 meter rates for inflation alone, a 75 rupees fare today would be closer to 103 rupees. Factor in disproportionate fuel increases and now it's closer to 120 rupees. This means that a driver strictly following the meter would only earn about 850 to 950 rupees daily, which barely covers his basic expenses of 750 rupees. This explains both the meter refusal as well as the selective rejections. But there's more. A long trip to a quiet area means that they'll be driving back empty. That return journey isn't free for them. It costs fuel, time, and vehicle wear. The meter doesn't account for that. The longer the distance and the less likely a return fare, the higher the premium above the meter.
मेट्रो पे आप थे, मेट्रो पे तो सवारी मिल जाता है, इधर से कोई भी निकलता है तो, लेकिन उधर से वापसी में मिल नहीं पाता सवारी.
It's not random. It's compensating for the economic reality of one-way trips.
ऐसा लेना कोई ठीक नहीं है, ये गलत है. लेकिन यही है जो कि सब एक जैसा तो होता नहीं.
But this isn't just about numbers. Let's take Ahmed in Mumbai for example. Let's say that on a hypothetical working day, he completes 22 trips. Of those, let's say that 3 were at meter rate, all of them short distances and in busy areas. 14 of them were 30 to 50% above the meter, and let's assume that 5 of them were double the meter rates. By the end of his 14-hour shift, Ahmed would earn 1,950 rupees. If he'd only used the meter for all the rides, the number would be closer to 1,180 rupees, which is below his break-even point after all expenses. People, including me, often feel that auto drivers are cheating us. And while paying 150 rupees for a trip that should cost 75 rupees does feel like cheating. Especially when all of us are also on tight budgets ourselves. Now, I'm not saying that every person out there is a saint and no one's actually trying to cheat you. I get it, I've been there. But once you look at these numbers, you do feel a little bad. Or is it just me? Let me know in the comments. There is, however, another factor that is contributing to this problem. The rise of ride-hailing apps. Apps like Uber, Ola, Rapido for example. These platforms introduced dynamic pricing, where fares would change based on demand, traffic, and time of day. We see that in most cities, on most days, during normal hours, app rates and meter rates for an auto are quite close. But during peak hours, the app rates surge 2 to 3 times more than the meter rates. Yet passengers accept these rates because they are transparent and they guarantee a ride. This clearly shows us that people are okay when apps charge more when the demand is high, but when a regular auto driver does this, he's called a cheater. Essentially, most passengers accept these higher rates because they know the rates upfront and there's no guesswork. Now, we do have a problem, but what's the solution? Well, right now in India, 3 approaches are being tested. Number 1 is dynamic official meters. Here, the fares would flex based on time or demand. Imagine midnight versus rush hour. Drivers would get a boost when it's crazy out there, and passengers, they would know the rate is fair and not a wild guess. This is currently being tested in tech-savvy cities like Bangalore, where traffic's a beast and static rates just don't cut it anymore. Number 2 is transparent fixed premiums. Simply put, imagine this like a surcharge. 25% for late night hauls, imagine 10 PM to 5 AM. And maybe a 50% surge on trips to faraway locations where a return ride isn't guaranteed. Nothing secret, it's all posted and all predictable. Passengers would know what they're paying and why. No surprises. And number 3 is an upfront fare calculation. Imagine this to be like the apps you use today. You tell the driver where you want to go, he punches it into an app and a price is given upfront. No meter, no haggling. Just the perfect deal made at that curb. Which one of these would stick and maybe become the new norm? I do not know. I guess we'll find out soon enough. Most drivers say that they would happily use a meter if they reflected current costs. It's not about avoiding regulation. It's about fair compensation. The meter in an auto today is no more than a fancy paperweight. And until we fix that problem, we are stuck in this dance of negotiation. And solving this puzzle doesn't just mean getting home faster. It means creating a system that works for both passengers who need a reliable mode of transport and drivers who can earn a sustainable livelihood. After all, everyone just wants a fair deal. But maybe it's time that our definition of fair caught up with reality.